A warm welcome to all our viewers to Old Donyo. A brilliant start with two of my favorite characters around the watering hole. And welcome to everybody joining us this afternoon. For those of you that's new, for those of you that's been with us for quite a few of the afternoons. Let's see what we have this afternoon. Looks like a beautiful overcast day here in Kenya. Very similar in South Africa, where I'm from. And my name is Yapi Potgieter, and I'm going to be your host this afternoon. And I'm coming to you live from the beautiful Timbavati. Now, we're starting out with quite a familiar scene. There was a brief pause by the elephant that was at the water, and obviously he noticed this elephant bull coming in, and like usual the two giraffes have to wait their turn. It looks like a very, very hot afternoon here at Old Donyo, so it looks like the animals are just going about their business. And I'm sure we'll see this, but cooling down, spraying all the areas that need to be. Oh, there's a bit of a... Oh, putting a bit of rank there. Clearly push the other bull off to get to the water inlet. A very popular spot. And judging from his one tusk that's missing, this elephant is very likely quite a little bit more willing to fight for his right, so to say. Thankfully, elephants are smart enough to just be able to do so by some serious prompts without having to escalate all the way. So, I would like to remind our viewers that this is a live and interactive show. So, an experience, and you can watch us. You can watch us on the app. You can watch us on the website. And you can register to ask questions on the website, or there you go, you can send your questions to wildearth.tv/questions, or scan that QR code there at the bottom right, and then you can join in on the conversation. You can also join us on X using hashtag wildearth, or once again you can scan the QR code there. And then of course you can join us on the YouTube chat at FC, and then you can send some questions and comments through. And of course check us out on all the social media platforms. Here we go, you can even send questions to WhatsApp to 078 630 2336. Well, this elephant looks like he's covered himself quite well. Some beautiful cool water, freshly pumped into the ever popular pan here at Old Donyo. You can see the other one slowed down a little bit and started drinking a little bit. With these big elephant bulls, it's always funny to watch here around Old Donyo, because they go through all these elaborate phases of coming to drink, and clearly don't care about any of the other animals coming in, even though they do pay them attention. And then again, being such a large animal, very, very large in proportion, it's got a very, very small surface area that's actually able to release its heat properly. And due to that, these elephants have to use both their internal thermoregulatory system as well as do and exhibit behavior or indulge in behaviors like we are seeing here where they cool themselves down. Look at this guy coming in for a bit of attention. Presenting his backside, obviously not looking for direct confrontation, but he is making it clear that he is also interested in that water inlet. Alright, and we have the first of our comments and questions coming in from Joan Mello. Happy Sunday, Wild Earth and Yapi. Thank you, Joan. Same to you. May it be a beautiful afternoon. Penelope Kenyon. You say you saw the bully boy kick an antelope earlier. Whoa. That sounds very interesting. I hope he didn't manage to get it or injure it. But yeah, looks like a bully. Definitely does. Look at him standing very, very still, just paying attention to that water inlet. But he's also just checking the other guy out. He's probably thinking, what should I do with this guy? Should I let him come drink? Or no, should I just let him wait? You can see the other guy is making some rather slow attempts at a peaceful possibility to share. Ellie, you're saying, ooh, you Ellie Bull, where did you lose your second tusk? Good question, Ellie, but judging from his demeanor, he is probably a bit of a bully. See, the other one's also chipped. And very likely an elephant that does not hold back in certain circumstances. So who knows, maybe he's a brawler. Maybe he lost his other tusk in a confrontation with another elephant. And then Ellie, you're also saying that the giraffes know better now to wait until the elephants are done drinking. That is so true, Ellie. Sometimes the giraffes get very desperate. I have seen some extreme desperation, but generally they're okay. And generally speaking, they know to wait, to let the larger animal have its drink. One of the laws of the natural world, of course, is the larger animal has the right of way. One of those extremely well understood unwritten laws of nature that every creature in every ecosystem understands clearly. Thankfully, the largest of them all, the elephant and the giraffe, they all rather docile. Not predators, but leaf eaters, plant eaters. And hence the constant search and longing for food. Imagine an elephant. Generally, some of these larger mammals, they go between 3 or 6% of their body weight, depending on the size and the animal. that they eat, which for a very large elephant bull can be as much as 200 kilograms of wet plant material a day or more. And then of that, between 24 to 48 hours, for that food to make its round through the digestive tract, it'll drop about 40 to 50% of that out the other end. In some cases more. Also depends on the time of the year and what they're eating. During the rain season, when there's an abundance in grass, well, at least in the southern African region, you notice a lot of grass feeding or grazing happening from the elephant herds coming in. And then of course, once the food gets a little bit scarcer, they'll move on. And with that I mean they'll move on to some browsing material. Leaves of plants and some tanniniferous material, the roughage material. Although they still do that during this season as well, it's not as prominent. Elephants are very, very adept at finding the required nutrients. And in the past, before the time of protected areas and non-protected areas, when they were free to go wherever, they would travel massive distances in search of certain components for their diet and nutritional needs.
My heart is pounding at the moment.
We are here in one of the best places in the world to see tigers.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member and unlock exclusive bonuses and benefits. Enjoy uninterrupted, ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in nature. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Enjoy exclusive access to special broadcasts and videos. And help us to connect people to nature.
We understand that not everybody has got spare pennies to rub together at the end of the month. We're introducing an initiative called Gift an Explorer.
So that those with lots of pennies can gift a Wild Earth Explorer access to those with fewer.
We're aiming for 250 gifts, but the more the merrier.
You can nominate a recipient or keep it anonymous.
It's a great way to share the Wild Earth mission with other nature lovers around the world.
Ticks, all of those things play in on it, that's for sure. Pat's asking, can elephants get water up their nose, causing inconvenience? Pat, I'm sure they can. They generally have they usually use their trunk to actually slurp up the water, as we're seeing that elephant on the right doing now. Let's have a look. Brings it down, and then he can relax the muscles on the inner side of the nostrils, and with that can suck up quite a few liters of water. But when that happens, there is a natural seal that takes place that prevents water from going into the wrong pipes. But I'm pretty sure, like us, sometimes maybe if they drink too quickly, it could go down the wrong hole or cause a bit of irritation. It also depends on the quality of the water, I guess. We'll just have a look. These elephants always coming in. Once they have their little patch, it is okay. Then they can just drink, cool down, and relax a little bit. And have a look. Giraffe still trotting around in the background, nervously looking around, not too sure. Now, yesterday afternoon I witnessed a very what seemed to me like a very pregnant giraffe, and I'm sure the stages that she's at, it's likely that she might need a little bit more of a regular drink. Just have a look at that. What a beautiful view. You can see targeting the flanks and the shoulders, behind the ears, the bottom part of the face, and around the eyes sometimes. Those are the parts that's kind of hidden from the sun. Underneath the elephant's giant bulk. Now there is a bit of a challenging game going on. But from a very odd interaction around this little watering hole Aldonio, let's head over to Elephant Pan and let's check in there what's happening there this afternoon. We have an elephant pretending to be a hippo. And we have another elephant in the background being an elephant. Looks like that elephant is missing a tusk, the one in the background. There's a few elephants around. But amazing to see that that elephant is literally just lazing around in the water. He's not even trying to swim or roll. He's just sitting there blowing bubbles, literally. It must be very, very comfortable at this stage. It's interesting how quickly that little pan gets deep. If you look at those two elephants there on the left, they're almost standing like out in the open. 3 elephants on the left, sorry. And then this elephant that seems rather large is quite well submerged here. It goes to show how deceiving these little pans can be on occasions. Literally you can see he's just blowing bubbles, cooling down, relaxing a little bit. So Ellie's saying, so it must be really a few things for little Ellies to learn when learning to use their trunks. It sounds quite complicated. Ellie, indeed it is, and not only for the little Ellies to get comfortable and realize that all those muscles are there. I guess the same as what a little kid needs to get used to using their hands and also to write. With Ellies there is of course lots of more larger instinctive movements that happens as they realize that their trunks are quite capable, but then of course there's also way more subtle and small muscle movements that need to be learned. And I'm sure that elephants also, as time goes on, learns new tricks with their trunks. But for a little one, at the start they technically can't even slurp up water through their trunk. So usually for the first little while, which can be as long as 6 months, some cases longer depending on the little elephant, they need to use their trunks. And for that, to learn that, they often just bend down and drink water directly from the mouth at the start. So indeed, it is a huge learning thing and can take as long as more than a year in some cases to fully grasp it. Jessica, you're saying, oh, to be an elephant, just relaxing in the water. Yep, imagine that, Jessica. I would be very surprised if that elephant gets bothered by the others. He seems to have found the perfect spot there. Oh, talking about that, looks like we've got a bothersome brother I'm fairly sure. That's a guess, of course. But yeah, that elephant was living their life up until a few minutes ago. Raphael MK is asking, how many hours can these elephants spend in the water? Raphael, that's a good question. It depends. Elephants, generally, they can hold their breath quite long if they need to, but they can spend quite a long time, often up to an hour or more, swimming. Depends on the heat of the day and, of course, the body of water. Like what happens is, if you have a very deep body of water, of course they would need to come out at some point, and they won't stay in too long. But lazing around like this, they can spend some quality time in there, depending on how little or not they get disturbed. And then Raphael MK, you're also asking, are there not crocodiles that can disturb the elephants? Sure. Even if there were, Raphael, I don't think they would mind themselves too much about crocs, although I have seen in the past where there's very large crocodiles that they do tend to pose a little bit of a danger, especially to the young ones, but mainly the young ones. And some crocodiles are quite brazen, and in that case crocs do disturb or pose a little bit of a threat, but in general crocs stay well clear from an elephant. Even when there's a baby around, the mother knows that if that croc tries something, and the croc knows that, then that would probably be the last of that croc. So in general, no, crocodiles don't pose a threat to them, and that's why they're so comfortable in water. Other than that, I highly doubt that there is any crocs in this pan currently. But then again, also with a crocodile, you can never say never. Just look at that. And that one on the right seems very intrigued. It seems very enticing. This pool party's grown to 4 members now. Oh, look at that baby elephant there. Looks like a big female walking off with that baby. Maybe that's why she was just checking the situation out. Wow, this is incredible. This is a very decent sized herd. About 20 odd elephants here, of which a number of them are already in the water. And this is incredible to watch. You can see, of course, now with this herd coming in, there's a little bit of disturbance and excitement. The elephants in the water also know that there's new elephants coming in. So now there's the excitement of getting to meet some or elephants that you haven't seen, at least for the morning or maybe since yesterday. And just checking the situation out. And look at them all spread out in and amongst the mopanis and the water. This is an amazing sight. Incredible how such a large animal in such a large group just like literally appears out of that mopani woodland. Something that mopani woodland is known for. It is a type of habitat that is frequented by a lot of elephant. Elephants tend to find it very useful, not from a nutritional point only, but also from various other points, as well as protection. It's nice and dense. I do find it funny how elephants always know these things so long ago. But this is incredible. It looks very hot here. I don't see a cloud in the sky there. And it looks like it is mainly younger elephants that's going down, rolling in the water. Especially younger bulls. But one elephant still flat down on its side, not too bothered at all. You can see, it doesn't matter, it just brings the trunk up above the water's level to breathe. What a very, very useful appendage. It looks like that one elephant settled down again. Looks like that one that's off to the side is a little bit, even though he's still submerged, he's a little bit older than the others. I'm judging here plainly from the size, so I'm assuming those guys on the left are a little bit younger, playing around. They're just enjoying themselves, and in that case sometimes you'll find that it's male, female. There you go, you can see that's a smaller elephant, but what a spectacular elephant bath here at this beautiful elephant pan, aptly named, in Botswana. Well, good to check in here at Botswana, and we might come back a little bit later, but let's head back over to Oldonyo and see if anything's changed there. Sure, and busy. Warthogs. Giraffe still waiting. The warthogs took a chance. Now there's a nice big male giraffe coming over, looks like. The elephant, something's drawn the elephant's attention. Maybe it was the warthog. Sometimes they do. You can see the elephant almost looks like it's ready to do something. The tip of his trunk curled back slightly, but that's also just because it's testing the air to gain more insight on what's going on. But also it's looking in that direction. Oh, there's a whole bunch of warthogs coming in. Look, interesting to note is that elephant's foot just going up the left, and there's a giraffe just standing and urinating. And no, he's not urinating on top of the warthog, just in front. But this is quite a bunch of warthogs, not sure where they come from. I haven't seen this many around the watering hole here. And have a look at that warthog. Beautiful big tusks. You can see the grey skin, same grain color as the elephant. Of course, also needs to help in regulating and staying cool and taking care of the skin through the use of mud. But we got a question from Penelope Kenyon that I saw, or a comment, and this was probably from earlier at Elephant Pan, saying that there's still a lot of water, and what a big herd. And yeah, Penelope, now here at El Doño, it looks like there is a big herd of elephant. Warthog. Although anyone's drinking. But Jive Bunny is saying the elephant bully bosses. Indeed, Jive Bunny. These elephants are the ones that determine what happens around this watering hole. At El Doño, it seems to me, they are the keepers of this watering hole. That is for sure. Indeed, they are the keepers. Look at the guinea fowl coming in as well. Giraffe still standing around. There's a male giraffe standing quite close to a female. Probably also just checking out the situation there. But this is a very impressive warthog, this. Very thirsty, impressive female warthog. Normally not a creature known to drink for extensive periods, but of course in this case it's probably quite safe. Interesting, nice little frame up here with all the guinea fowl on the other side with their blue heads. Now, interesting thing with the warthog here is you can see those ears are flipped backwards facing our direction, and then of course we just catch the corner of the eye. Even at this angle, there we go. So it's quite interesting to notice how these animals, especially the grazing animals, how good their peripheral vision is. Oh, this one's sniffing the air, so picking up on something there. So
Join the Wild Earth YouTube superfan community and unlock a world of additional perks. Get exclusive early access or discounts to Wild Earth travel deals. Wear the best bush attire with merchandising discounts. Enjoy an interactive live monthly private safari. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Join the YouTube superfan community today.
Weird way or manner. And unfortunately in the long run it does affect the eyesight or the eyes of the animals. But sometimes where it gets picked up in areas that's well managed, there might be a bit of an intervention, which unfortunately would mean the removal of part of the tusk. It certainly does happen. But have a look, here's all these new members of this warthog group that Wildlife Lady's been mentioning. Now they look like they have already been around for a little while. They're still quite small and it looks like there's different sizes. And what happens sometimes is you'll find some warthogs do tend to have their offspring from previous litters around, or they might come back to join, but normally after they are about to give birth they'll chase the previous litters and chase them away to have more time on their own, and then gradually if they do spend a lot of time in the same area they might regroup and move together through areas. And have a look at that elephant. Really liking the tip of his trunk there. Just have a look at them. Interesting looking critters, them warthog folk. You can see apparently their eyesight's not too great. It is rather good though. They've got excellent hearing, but the eyesight is rather good. And if of course they've got an excellent sense of smell, and you can see the large nose. And have a look, carefully checking the area out. Probably giving some time to some of the other younger ones to fully catch up and have their drink. Maybe she might be thinking of heading back to the water. Maybe they all might be heading back to the water. Oh, there's more coming. Amazing. Look at these impatient giraffe. All finally mustering the courage. But looks like that one elephant is still maybe not fully allowing it to happen. And then Ellie's saying that you're seeing a secretary bird in the back. Ellie, I have missed that secretary bird, unfortunately. That is very, very cool. I hope it comes to the water's edge, but well done on spotting that. Currently from where I am, I do not see it. Oh, that giraffe, poor giraffe. I'm getting terrorized by the elephant. All he did was shake his head and spray the water directly into his bottom lip, which created that. And that almost mist-like spray. Certainly seemed quite intimidating. The other thing what happens is, I did read an interesting thing the other day where elephants were discussed in terms of like how they are handling the rising temperatures, because elephants, of course, being a very, very large animal, might get affected through climate change quite heavily in terms of handling the heated temperatures and regulating their body temperature. And what they have found is that with the rising temperatures, there is a suspicion that they might be spending more time resting during the very, very hot periods of the year than in previous years. But these are from isolated studies over different regions, so not something 100% confirmed all over. But the interesting thing is they did find that elephants are still quite adept at being able to manage their effective temperature regulation, even if the temperature does go up to a few degrees hotter than what it is now throughout their distribution range, and that's specifically to the African elephant. So it would be very interesting to see what other research come out on that in the future. Elephants are known to be very adaptable. Their uncanny way of finding water in the harshest of environments certainly aids them. But on days when it is very hot like this, they also don't always in the mood for sharing the water. Then there's also the fact that elephants tend to move around quite a bit, so when they do find water, they'd like to stay there for a little while, and they would like to take as much in as possible. Look at all these giraffe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 of them just standing. They certainly look quite impatient. It looks like a bunch of young male giraffe, mostly, at a glance. Hence maybe the more, oh, maybe not all of them, not this one approaching now. But they certainly were looking at that water quite longingly. So UK girl is saying, love the warthog and close-up of elephant feet. Noticed excrement around the water. How is it that animals don't get sick when they all use the water for bathing, drinking and going to the toilet? The UK girl, that is a very good question. Animals have adapted to, this water is rather fresh, rather clean comparatively to some of the water found out there, and over many years of being able to survive in an environment like this and with available water sources, we do find that animals have developed quite strong immune systems to general issues that they might pick up. But the other thing is also, like, most of these animals are plant-eating animals, so the dung, as we call it, from most of the plant eaters, they are mainly able to be broken down, and that comes with the aid of a lot of insects and birds that utilize the partly digested plant material within the dung of animals that come down to the water. So gradually nature completes a circle, and essentially that nutrients within that food gets put down back towards the soil. And wherever it does land up in the water, you get it to a point. Sometimes water become very dirty, especially if hippos have spent a lot of time in certain watering holes, and then what you'd find is that you might not actually have animals come down to drink. The hippos will stay in it. They provide perfect conditions for certain things to grow.
Join Wild Earth Travel on a unique nature adventure in the Greater Kruger Park. Legendary master tracker Renius Mhlongo leads a 4-day animal tracking experience in the Sabi Sand Nature Reserve. This experience offers a life-changing chance to track Africa's iconic animals on foot with a master of his craft. Renius is joined by Wild Earth presenter and expert storyteller Amy Krantz, and together they will connect you to Africa's wild heart. At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Haina nchumo, haina maka. Emafokweni ya mbilu, haina maka. lifasi la mina ritapela nzatsemba utatshama na mina.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a serviceman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula. That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Wild Earth Travel would like to take you to Namibia and Botswana. Drift over the desert in a hot air balloon, then glide through the lush Okavango Delta in a dugout canoe. This extraordinary journey blends dramatic landscapes with outdoor adventures and unparalleled wildlife encounters. Discover Africa like never before. Book now with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
This is on the different giraffes. That one there on the left's got quite a pale face. This one here on the right drinking is a little bit darker, and they've got these beautiful markings on the cheeks. There we go. Maybe that drink is taking a minute or two too long. And of course the male giraffes, like this one is, they tend to develop quite interesting characters and characteristics through the shape of their head. It pretty much changes all the way from about 4 to 5 years old onwards, especially from about 8 to 15, and then very much in its later years. But as we have this spectacular view of a tower of giraffes around the watering hole here at Oldonyo, I think let's head over to Founders for the first time this afternoon to see if any of the guys have come up to have a drink that side. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Let's see, I wonder if these are our same two ladies from yesterday. Back for more. Look at them just sniffing around, probably scoping out the area very well this time before. Coming down for a drink. Looks like we lost our feet that side, but that's okay. We got some beautiful views of giraffe legs here, and just have a look. This is a very good chance to get a good view of this giraffe drinking. This is a nice big male. Look at all its oxpeckers going straight for those areas around the neck, coming down to the ears. What a beautiful animal. Dark markings throughout. Look at the precarious manner that those legs are spaced in. And the back hooves splayed widely to support the weight. I am surprised at the amount of giraffe up here. Yoch, look at all those oxpeckers. That animal there, yoch, that's a big group of oxpeckers. Yo, I've counted at least 15 with a quick count. That is a very large group, probably more than one group, and that's why we're seeing some staying and some flying. Often these oxpeckers will even fight over animals, territorial fights on their patch of skin. Let's see what we have here. Maybe we have some next to the water's edge. There we go. What do we have there? Oop, there's a couple of doves and what seems to be a wasp actually. There's a wasp on the water's edge. I'm pretty sure that wasp's there to look for some mud. And then of course, very different feet. And this elephant is literally standing in this one spot this whole time. Just look at that incredibly thick skin around the legs. Let's see, what does he bring up? Is he just sucking up water maybe? Let's see, sometimes within the folds of the skin on the trunk you can notice some pollen or greenery from the shrubs that they've been feeding on. There we go. That's a beautiful emerald spotted wood dove. That one was a very thirsty one. Had his whole face in the water. So it's good to see there's all these little puddles out on the water's edge, obviously from when the larger animals drink. There we go. Very nice view of emerald spotted wood dove. There's a Cape turtle dove, or a ringneck dove as it's known. So from Oldonyo in Kenya we're going to another destination in Kenya, to Lentore. Let's see what's happening there this afternoon. Oh wow, and here we have some firefinches. Looks like some red-billed firefinches. And this is the first time today and yesterday that I've seen or been back at Lentore, and we've had some quite epic baboon sightings and bird sightings. This is a spectacular watering hole for birding. So let's see who comes down. And lots of little firefinches, a common visitor to the watering hole's edges, especially in the quieter, shallower puddle like structures. And just have a look, you can see the males being the more vibrantly red ones. I can see the red bulls on some of them, but I do know this region of Africa has quite a few firefinches.
South Africa's wild places are closer than you think because Federal Airlines brings them to you. From the calm of our FedAir lounge to the smooth boarding of our trusted fleet, we take care of the journey so you can enjoy the adventure. Our flights go beyond the ordinary, connecting you to South Africa's most remote and extraordinary locations. Federal Airlines, your gateway to the South African wild.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
Quite exciting and busy around the water's edge. Penelope Kenyon saying Lentori, a favorite bird waterhole. Indeed, Penelope, I agree. I think it's a very, very beautiful watering hole and perfect for bird watching this time of the day. There's enough shade on the water's edge here, which is a crucial component for some birds, especially the smaller birds. Like you can imagine, with very high temperatures, little birds like this could struggle. And Penelope, you're also saying that they are very beautiful birds. Indeed they are. They are spectacularly beautiful. All the firefinches are very, very beautiful. And Ellie, you're saying, yes, Pen, so many beautiful birds in Africa, SA. So Ellie is agreeing with Penelope. And yes, there are very, very lots of beautiful little birds. In this case, firefinches. You can also hear like a starling like bird calling there in the background. But the noises that they make, quite classical firefinch like chirps and whistles. And there's some butterflies coming in. Also another regular visitor, if there's shade, to the little puddles on the water's edge. Good to see these little guys around. There's some, looks like bees flying around there. When the baboons are here, it's not always as busy by the other little ones, but you never know. just have a look at that. This is such a beautifully set up little watering hole with shade everywhere. That big tree, thorn tree on the edge. There's something swimming on the water, not sure what it was. Occasionally we also have a hammerkop here. Have a look. Oh, now there's more birds coming in. More little birds drinking. More, looks like more red-billed firefinches drinking this side. There's some doves, ringneck doves. Interesting that the doves don't mind coming in from the warmer side. Is that a ringneck dove? Let's have. Oh no, it looks like a laughing dove. Look how quickly it drinks. Also a beautiful little dove. Really docile little creatures. Always find them fascinating to watch. So busy, but also so careful in their movement. And whenever they come down for a drink, and have a look. Yo, not something I can say that I've often seen them walking that deep into the puddle of water. You can see lots of butterflies going around in the foreground, but normally with the doves, like, they'll drink from the water's edge. Here we go. The little firefinches. What do we have here? Let's see. What are these? Red-billed. Yeah, red-billed, I'd say. Yeah, just having a good look. I would say red-billed indeed. And there we go. Looks like, what was that little one picking up? Maybe some. Looks like he was picking amongst the mud there. Maybe some seeds that's been dropped. Not sure if it's from the tree or something else. But what a tiny little bird. You can imagine being this small, you wouldn't really want to share the water's edge with a lot of larger things. But yeah, it is busy indeed. just watching not just the birds hopping around and going after things, but there's also a lot of flying insects coming overhead. It just goes to show the constant flurry of life around these little provided watering holes. And you can imagine that of course having them around certain areas is also because that attracts these little birds, little critters around, which brings in people to come to visit the area. Of course they can see and have a good look at these little things. That's the importance of watering holes. Managing them carefully is vitally important. They can affect game and animal movements throughout a larger region, of course. Either have animals stay in the area longer than what one might want. Then Penelope Kenyon saying, it always surprises you that doves' nests are so sparsely made. Penelope, indeed, doves' nests aren't the most beautiful of nests, and they often also seem like they are not the most carefully constructed, and they can seem quite haphazardous and volatile at points. Yeah, they sometimes you wonder how the egg manages to stay in there throughout that period. And then you get some doves that literally just like have a little scrape with a few twigs up on high buildings. But that's some good birding here around Lintori, I think. While we wait for some other larger creatures to come, let's head over to Tau. Let's see if there's any larger critters that side. What a beautiful view here at Tau. Zebras and impalas. Let's see what other critters we might have. Yesterday we had some ostrich here. The beautiful green Tau here. Definitely one of my favorite spots, especially.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Every guide in Africa has been on an endless quest for the ultimate bush wear. Until now, Rugged Wear has a huge range of amazing bush gear for every wild situation. In the midday heat, those chilly winter mornings, in the storms of summer. Rugged Wear has the bush kit for every wild occasion. Locally made in South Africa, crafted with precision, stitched with quality.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. I grew up mostly here in the Lowveld. I grew up here pretty much on the southern side of Kruger National Park, a place called Marlow Park, for most of my years. Something surprising about myself, I did play drums in a band for many years. Best sighting I presented, we found Palumba and the two cubs, and the cubs are just way big.
the months go on. And in about a month's time or so, these guys should start to go at each other and try and push each other around a little bit for their all-important patch. And yeah, it looks like a few big impala rams here. So generally speaking, they look quite mature, probably 4 and up. Often you'll find a few younger ones, even the ones from the last season. At this stage sometimes they join these groups even though they stay on the periphery. They don't quite actively partake. They'll have their little sparring matches and what, but these big guys, they mean business. Look at the size of that one's neck when he lifted his head. Got some impressive horns, these impalas here, but they got their beautiful coats, which is by now quite full in color, quite saturated, the deep reddish brown. You can see these guys have been eating well here, very well. They've been bulking up. Erica Oldno is asking if I have seen 2 hammerkops here. Now I'm assuming, Erica, you might have asked that about Lentori. I've seen one there before, going at the window. I don't know, I might have seen both or 2, but I never together. I've only seen one at a time. And I do know what I am curious about is why I haven't really seen hammerkop here at Tau. There's lots of little water birds and other wading birds around here, but the hammerkop also does frequent the random little puddles. Just look at that, beautifully green here. Lots of water lilies. Perfect hunting grounds for the African jacana. I'm amazed to see that that entire clearing is all covered with grass now. A few months back, Tau was looking, even though there was still a little bit of water, or muddy water, you can see some grass bent here, so I'm assuming the elephants or some other larger animals have been through it. Penelope Kenyon, you're saying the river is flowing quite fast. I didn't actually realize that it's a river, Penelope Kenyon. I thought it is a watering hole. But indeed, it does look like it is flowing. I thought it might just be the wind blowing across it. But there we go, look at some Egyptian ducklings, goslings. Look at those little guys. There's lots of food there, looks like they getting some good meals there out of the water. And then the adult standing nearby looks like it's got one loose feather. Quite odd to see, they're usually very neat. And Deb Davis is saying that the wildflowers are beautiful. Indeed they are, Deb. I've not been able to see what all these flowers are. It looks like there's some water lilies. The yellow ones in the back, I'm not too sure. I think they might be some hibiscus species, but really not sure at all, to be honest. Yeah. Here's the ever popular rubbing post to the left. Now this looks like quite a well-doing brood at this point. And then again, these Egyptian geese can also have quite large broods. And they have a very, very successful survival rate, a very high rate of survival. It's good to see all the usual customers at the water's edge here, like that blacksmith lapwing there. Looks like it's just standing there. Haven't seen any blacksmith lapwing chicks here. What do we have there? Only a few rocks on the water's edge. And here we have a zebra coming down to the water. One with a funny looking mane. Not sure if his mane got damaged by something. Doesn't look like it's hanging, possibly. Sometimes these males, when they fight, they pull at each other's manes and they might even bite sections off. I have seen that before. But usually when they have damage on the skin surface, that might affect the hair follicles and the growth of the mane up on the dorsal side of the neck. But what an incredibly beautiful animal. Always fun to watch zebra. I do enjoy zebra, no matter where they are, in all the different habitats. Ellie's saying you love the Egyptian geese and seeing the goslings. Yes, indeed, Ellie, they are beautiful. In fact, actually a duck, not a goose. Like the name can be quite deceiving. But beautiful bird nonetheless. Very good to see the little ones anyway. And look at these zebra trying to vie for a space here on the water. That looks like a pregnant female standing there with her ears back in front. And the other one, looks like two pregnant females. And that's why it might be might have this short fuse when he gets to going to go have a drink. But Penelope Kenyan is saying it's part of the Madikwe River. And Deb Davis is saying look at all the goslings, and then Limbury is saying it's a waterhole, it's just the wind moving the water at Tau. That is some good points there. So what I would like to check is, I'm going to see if I can have a quick look on a map, because it does make sense that it might be part of the Madikwe River. It does make sense, that is for sure. And indeed it does look like a watering hole from what I can see. Very, very beautiful area this, but having said that, the watering hole, one also got to remember that in this particular part of South Africa, rivers are very, very dry and also just seasonal. So generally speaking, the watering holes found but look at this, there's some action. You can see there's one of those female zebra that I was talking about. Quite sentimental about a spot around the water here. I don't really want any other in the nearby vicinity. The zebras can be quite fun to watch, even though they can be quite feisty. But Penelope Kenya is saying that the Madikwe flooded this plain. That makes sense to me, Penelope. It looks like that from what I can see. And also, generally speaking, the rivers in this area are so dry that it only really rivers once it rains a lot. And these areas are flooded or provided with water in order for game to stay within the area.
We love all creatures in the African bush, from the biggest to the smallest, including the tiny little insects and arthropods, but some of them are not as charming as we'd like them to be. So that's why I trust peaceful sleep. And it lasts up to 8 hours too, so I can stay out longer, both at day and night, and not feel like I'm somebody's snack.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
This is a couple of days for the females to move through, and herds that might move through might move on. from having so many animals out here in the open, we can see that it's not really a struggle to make sure that there is any danger around. These guys are quite quite capable of spotting danger at this distance, but also quite safe from what it looks like. Lucy Krudi is asking, why are zebras always waving their tails? It's a good question, Lucy. And you can see when these guys stand close to each other, they often stand with their head towards the back side of the other one. And there's a bit of a scratch on the other one. So in this long grass currently, these poor creatures will be harassed by biting flies, small little blood-sucking flies and other creatures. So the tail's wagging, because it's also the back end of the animal. It does draw a lot of flies, and there's also softer skin that side, so that tail constantly wags to relieve the animal of some of the biting insects. And then of course it helps a little bit with airflow and cools them down if they stand back to end or head to end. But it's mainly for the control of pestering flying insects. And then Limbury has sent some photos of what I believe is tile after the floods, the recent floods that they've had, and it looks incredible. You can see it is very, very, very wet that side of the world, and I heard that there was lots and lots of rain, something that's very unusual for this part of South Africa, or has been for a very long time. So good to see. Very happy to see that they've had so much rain, so much water in the area. Lots of zebra out in this field now. Not sure they're all from the same group, but zebra often band together. They don't mind sharing space. Might be a little bit of feathers ruffled once they get on each other's nerves, but very beautiful to see Tau and all the water here. And I think in the meantime, let's head back to Elephant Pan and see if there's still some elephants around there. And there's still some elephants in the water. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that one elephant is still in the water since earlier. And we started out here. It's almost been 2 full hours that this elephant has been in the water. And if I'm not mistaken, we had a question right at the start today asking how long they can stay within the water, from Raphael MK. Well, Raphael, that shows us at least 2 hours. Now, I mean, this elephant might have gotten out in the meantime, but I highly doubt it. can see the span gets immediately deep there, so it looks like a nice wallowed pool or section of the pool. And that elephant just flopped down. Like, I'm here, now I'm gonna play and stay. So hot, it's so nice in the water, might as well stay around. And when elephants are in the water like this, the mood is also quite good, so these guys tend to enjoy themselves. They play around quite a bit. It is quite relaxing. As we can see, that elephant doesn't mind. He's dropping his dung right there in the spot. Must be quite an uplifting feeling to an elephant, being able to relax in the cooler water. Not that I think this water would be cool currently. I mean, there is a man-made water inlet, but I don't think that makes this water any cooler. It's standing out in the open, getting baked under the African sun all day. And in this part of Africa, Botswana, the temperatures can get quite hot.
Join me, Andrew Wistenholm, for an indescribable 6-night stay in the beautiful Albany of the Eastern Cape at Amakhala Game Reserve. Now, this trip is going to be action-packed with a lot of storytelling, adventure, as well as the opportunity to make everlasting memories. We'll be exploring the best of Amakhala by staying at 2 luxury lodges, which will be the perfect blend of comfort as well as wilderness. Book your spot today, and let's get ready to explore the wild beauty of Amakhala.
Become a Wild Earth YouTube member today and unlock extras and bonuses, like ad-free streams so you can stay immersed in your safari without any interruption. Have your burning questions answered first by me or other expert naturalists. Join now to avoid missing out on these amazing benefits. Help us connect people to nature. My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so, because best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
And these elephants are just standing around enjoying some rest here in the cool water. I wonder if some of the others would come in or if they are just gonna drink. It's interesting. I wonder what prompts certain elephants. I often find that there's younger bulls playing around in the water. Sometimes the younger females, like in a more playful nature. They go about their business and roll and play and go on for quite a while, where the older ones tend to be a little bit more serious in their approach, be a little bit more focused rather, I'd say. So that elephant there at the back looks like it's just been laying enjoying this water. Now this is so soothing, so relaxing, but while these elephants relax in their nice warm African bath, we're gonna go check in with a troop at Lentori. Oh, a troop of waterbuck. No, I am joking. I can see there the famous haircut of a baboon sitting there on the water's edge to the side of that young waterbuck. Carefully just eyeing him. And look at this waterbuck, you can just see the nostrils flaring in the nose, moving up and down as it's sipping the water. Looks like a mother and a young waterbuck. Nice to see. I haven't seen a waterbuck at Lentori too often, but it's good to see the baboons back here. They always make for a funny bunch. I wonder where they were up until now and what made them decide. Maybe it became too hot finally to get to the water side. Always nice to see a baby waterbuck. Very, very beautiful little creatures, and they do, when they're very young, they often get hidden in the long grass near large watering holes, and their colour make them blend in perfectly. And it's funny, you hardly ever see them. Unless you get to a point, you walk right to the water's edge and suddenly this little waterbuck just shoots out of the bushes right next to you. You just remain there very, very calmly, very quietly. You can see this one's curious. Also slightly nervous. It looks like it's already over the age where it might be hidden for long periods. It probably does move with the mother. Ellie, you're saying lovely waterbuck ladies? Indeed. I think that little one might be a little bit young to say for sure that it's a lady at this point. But who knows, maybe you might be right. And then Penelope Kenyon is saying, what a peaceful scene, so relaxing. It is quite relaxing. Have a look. They are still quite, just a mother and a young, of course. They are very, very alert. Like, of course, she's got that little one to take care of. Oop, and something gave it a spook. Baboons doesn't seem to spook. Wonder what that was. Now, interesting thing there with these waterbuck. You can notice there we've got another view. There's no white ring on the back side. And from what I understand, this is a divisive waterbuck. A very unique waterbuck found in very, very humid areas. So yeah, quite an interesting one to see, a little bit unique, not one I'm used to seeing. They are notably characterized by the lack of the white ring, which is normally on the back end of a waterbuck. So very, very beautiful antelope, but I think that is a first for me. I don't actually think I have seen waterbuck here at Lintore. But look at that baboon, just making sure that he's not keeping eye contact with the camera for too long. Look at his little ears moving, listening out very carefully. Now what's interesting is this divisive waterbuck, from what I understand, is to the western side of the Rift Valley, and we find the common waterbuck on the eastern side. So quite a unique antelope, quite a nice sighting. And of course, always one of my favorites, the baboon. This baboon doesn't seem like he's got too much to worry about today. Not too much other males or too much other females giving trouble. Oh, yawn, yawn, yawn. Just look at those. Oh, that is often, besides a yawn, it is often also a display of the tools that it might have to use. But what I saw there is it looks like that baboon's canines is almost completely gone, so it looks like a very big male with well-worn teeth. Joan Mello, you're saying have a good Sunday everybody, and thank you Wild Earth. And then Penelope King is saying, does the Fassa have white patches on their rumps? Yes, indeed they do, Penelope. Those two did have their white patches. It depends also. Some of them might have a little bit less of an apparent white patch. But very, very awesome to see. And Wildlife Lady is saying, enjoy today's live at the waterhole. Thanks very much, Yapi, FC and African. And what a good way to end our last few minutes for this weekend with live at the watering hole. And just look at that proud male baboon. For now, the king of this watering hole here at Lentore. Just a casual scratch and relax. Carefully scanning the horizon. I know I saw the other one there. It's possibly a female. But this is one of those things. Look at them, always just checking out everything. A highly alert animal. But like this baboon, I hope that all of you have a nice and relaxing Sunday afternoon. And from myself and everybody here at Live at the Watering Hole and Wild Earth, we say good afternoon, and hopefully we'll see you soon.